even expanding bike trails across the city. How do you tackle this one?
Bike and pedestrian safety is a big issue for me. In Oak Cliff, we introduced the first complete streets that were seen in the city of Dallas. That's giving space for cars, the automobile, giving space for pedestrians, and giving bicycle lanes. Also in Oak Cliff, we introduced the first physically separated bike lanes. I am ready to take complete streets to all the city of Dallas, especially in our urban areas, downtown and uptown, and complete the package of having more physically separated bike lanes, more bicycle lanes, and then completing the circuit loop. The idea that we're going to take all of our trail system throughout the city of Dallas and connect it all. So you can get from the White Rock Trail, the Santa Fe Trail, over the Coombs Creek Trail, into trails up north and down south, like the Joppy Trail, that they all be interconnected.
But again, how do you pay for that, Councilman?
Well, the circuit loop is just a matter of following through. So I have a will to follow through and make it a priority because all of us approved it in the 2017 bond program. And street improvements are so small to do for bicycles. What we need to do is just make a small and incremental increase in that budget from $500,000 to $1 million to $1.5 million to get so much physically separated bike lanes done.
For dedicated bike lanes.
Dedicated bike lanes. It's just paint and bollards. Paint and bollards aren't that expensive. And so if we make it a priority, we can get it done. I intend on making that a priority because we're seeing so many young people move back into uptown, downtown, and all the neighborhoods around there. And we want to encourage multimodal transportation and the use of bicycles.
Representative, is there a viable strategy for this?
Well, here's what I would posit to that voter who asked that question. This is a great example of what the choice is in the election. It's not that my opponent is always wrong or never has a good idea. It's not that I'm always right and my ideas are always superior. It's not about that. The voter needs to ask themselves this question, looking at us two, if we can both be convinced that this is a good idea or any idea that comes up, say for complete streets, who do you have confidence could get the votes necessary to actually move it through the council? Who do you believe has the relationship and the work style that would actually be able to generate the policy outcome you want? And we can ask that across a myriad of issues. I have a master's degree in public policy. I don't talk about it a lot, but the point is I understand how policy gets made. I get it. Mr. Griggs understands too. But what they can't teach you in a classroom and what has nothing to do with a plan is the ability to move votes and get people to do things that you want them to do. And that, I think, is what the voters have to decide. Who will be the most effective mayor? I think it will be me.
Let's go to Tasha with another question.
Yes, this is actually not just from one single person. We have been getting several questions about the homeless issue in the city of Dallas. What will either of you do about reducing homelessness?
People panhandle on I-30 in the Canyon during rush hour traffic. That is unacceptable.
Not only that, we see so many homeless residents moving into residential areas each time the city closes a tent encampment. What do we say to those neighbors?
Yeah, and Councilman, I guess kind of the bottom line is City Hall hasn't figured this out yet.
Absolutely, we've put a plan in place. What we did was we realized the old plan wasn't working, so we set up an Office of Homeless Solutions that TC Broadnax led. We brought in great people, and then we've taken some great steps. For example, the Salvation Army facility. Getting that new proposed facility off of I-35 and Regal Road, a $95 million facility to help individuals experiencing homelessness, that is a great first step. Because we know the bridge downtown doesn't have enough capacity, and the existing Salvation Army facility that is on Harry Hines does not have enough capacity. The other things we're doing, we put, the voters approved it, bond money that we're now looking at allocating. Just this last week at Dallas City Council, we were talking about sites for more facilities to help people experiencing homelessness, because we have a capacity issue. Then what I'm going to bring to the table as mayor is an innovative approach that's in our comprehensive housing policy, setting up a master lease agreement and mobility assistance agreement. We have so many people experiencing homelessness, families, veterans that have housing choice vouchers. They just cannot find a unit to move into. So the city of Dallas will provide the assistance for finding the landlords that will accept the voucher, help them with the paperwork, help them move in, help guarantee the deposit, and get people off the streets in a home, getting it turned around. That's the approach that we've outlined on Dallas City Council. It's called Tracks 1, Tracks 3, and Tracks 4 of the solution to help with homelessness, and we are implementing it right now. I will continue the implementation of this successful plan as mayor of the city of Dallas. And if someone has some ideas on how to make it better, we'll add those, because this is an issue that I've helped build complete consensus on the Dallas City Council, where on all these votes on this issue, we see 15-0, 15-0, 15-0.
Is that a strategy that's going to work? You know, we're covering Southern Dallas. I talked to some homeless residents, and it's unfortunate. I talked to many of the same homeless residents who've moved from tent encampment to tent encampment, who've tried to take advantage of the city's homeless solutions. But they say one of the challenges is that some of those facilities close up early. They want to work, so they have to leave work early to get there on time. They also talk about not wanting to be in a place.
Yeah, shelter-resistant homeless.
What do you think?
Well, look, I was on the board of the Metro Dallas Homeless Alliance. I've had homelessness directly affect my immediate family. I understand the seriousness of the issue. It's an issue that I care a lot about. The homeless shelters are all in my legislative district. I've actually legislated in this space. So the understanding of the issue is there, but when you understand the issue, what you also understand, and I think Councilman Griggs is exactly right, this is a persistent issue for a reason. This is a difficult issue to quote unquote solve for a reason. People who live on the streets in our city are living on the streets for various reasons, many of which are very difficult. Drug addiction in some cases, mental illness in other cases. It's different for every person. So we do need to invest more bond money in permanent supportive housing and do things, but we have to understand that this is a problem that we're going to have to consistently put at the very high on a mayor's priority list and never take our eye off, because it's not the kind of issue that is going to, the needle's not going to move very easily on this. And so what I'm basically saying is this: as mayor, I will continue to make it a priority, but I can't tell you that there's a silver bullet to address an issue that has vexed mankind since the beginning of time. It's going to be very difficult work, and we're going to have to continue to work with what the city's doing now. But the city manager has a job to do to help implement priorities and plans, and I will stand with the city manager and work with the city manager to try to lean in harder on this issue. But it's going to be hard, and I want to be honest about that.
Eric, you said homelessness has affected your immediate family.
Yes.
I haven't heard this story.
I have my older brother was homeless for a while and lived at the Dallas Life shelter there, and just south of I-30 for a while.
On the convention center.
Yeah, in fact, he was homeless at the point when I got married. When he was actually homeless at the time, but he's actually doing incredibly well. Has bounced back from homelessness and is doing very well. But he was absolutely.
Okay. Definitely a hot button issue, and we could talk so much more about that, but I want to make sure we give our viewers another chance to ask you guys some questions. David, you have another question for us?
Sure, absolutely. And we kind of walked into this topic a little bit in this last question. This comes from Denise Johnson, saying the City of Dallas has a policy in place for landlords to pay a registration fee to rent properties. Will this fee be eliminated since property taxes are steadily increasing?
This is a brand new fee, isn't it, Councilman? And the whole idea, I think, is to curb deadbeat landlords?
That was the intent. It's called Chapter 27, the Single Family Registration Program. I assume that's what the question is directed to. I think that program's been a big failure, and it's something that we need to revisit with the rules. In our comprehensive housing policy, what we set forth as the number one goal was to maintain and increase the stock of affordable housing in the city of Dallas. We found with this registration program and the inspections going on, first, they're very, in my opinion, unconstitutional. We have code enforcement officers entering people's homes, which is illegal search, and going in their homes. Then beyond that, on a house that may be worth $60,000, $80,000 and has a very reasonable rate that people can live in, they're asking for $100,000 worth of repairs to be done to it.
The city is asking.
Yeah, so the city has lost the point between making things habitable and making them look like they're brand new. The intent of it was never to make things look brand new. So to me, this is something that was passed that we need to go back and revisit. It is not working.
He wants to get rid of
actually.
it. You agree with it also?
No, I mean, I agree it needs to be revisited and looked at.
Would you eliminate this?
I can't say that I'd eliminate it, but I do think. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I do think that we have at some point when you adopt policy, if you are getting feedback from the people who are affected by the policy that it's extremely onerous or there's issues with it, then you have to be okay and willing to go back and revisit it. So I actually agree with the councilman on this.
We have a couple of minutes left here. Tasha, what else were they asking?
Well, we have a timely one from Brandon in light of a shooting death this weekend of a transgender woman. He asks, what are you going to do to ensure members of the LGBTQ community feel safe in Dallas?
Representative, that was Malaysia Booker's death was tragic. It was so unwarranted. What do you say to these people who are outraged at what happened to her?
Well, the first thing I'd say is this. As the mayor, if I'm fortunate enough to be elected mayor, every resident of Dallas' safety is going to be important to me. Every single person. And I care about every person in the city the same. But we have to be aware that there are segments of our society that seem to be being targeted for certain types of violent acts. We have to just own that, and we have to be honest about that. And we have to think about what, from a criminal justice, public safety standpoint, what that means in terms of how we prosecute these crimes and what we do to try to get in front of that as a policy issue. So what I would say is this: when tragedies like this happen, the first thing we have to do is apprehend the person, because this is a dangerous person. Whoever's done this is a dangerous person. But then I think we have to be honest about, if this is a hate crime, and it looks to me like it very well could be. It looks like it probably is. We need to send that message. We really do. We have the laws on the books to do it, and we need to prosecute people to the fullest extent of the law who are targeting individuals because of their gender identity or their sexual orientation. We just need to do that. And we need to be known as a city that does not tolerate violence against anyone, but certainly not targeted violence.
What do you say to Brandon's question, Councilman?
Yes, I stand with the LGBTQ community about this tragedy. It is tragic, and what we actually need right now is, if anyone has any tips about this, the Dallas Police Department is actively looking for tips. Please call 911 if you have a tip, any information. If you know anything, it's so important. We must bring the person or persons, whoever did this, to justice. And to do that, we need the help of the people in the city of Dallas to give us those leads right now. Our detectives are ready. As the Dallas City Council, we've all been concerned about this. We are speaking with one voice. We're talking to the chief, and we need leads from the public. So I'll just give a plug for it. If anyone listening knows anything, please contact 911 in the Dallas Police Department. We need those leads today. We need to bring this person or persons to justice. This is a tragic death, and it is, believe me, is at the top of the police department, and our chief is on top of it, and we need your help.
On top of that, that DPD is now investigating 24 murders in the month of May alone. We have time for about one more question. And David, do you have another question for us?
Sure, this one's going to take 6 or 7 minutes, so you guys better be ready. Okay, this one comes from this one comes from Lori Bradley here in our last minute. Couple numbers to think about for both of y'all. Number one priority in one word.
Excellent question, Lori. Great
Thanks,
question.
Lori.
Councilman, you take this one first. Number one priority
Public
in one
safety.
word. That's two words.
2 words.
Police. I go over it. Police.
Just kidding. Give him 2 words. It's fine.
Well, some things in police. If you want me to go one word, police.
All right, public safety, police. Representative?
Effectiveness. Effectiveness.
Okay, that seems good. That answers Lori's question.
Excellent. We are wrapping up, guys. Thank you guys so much. And
Thank you.
despite the campaigns and despite their stances on certain positions, these guys really are friends. Every time they're in this studio together, they go seek each other out and shake hands. So that says a lot about both of these individuals running for mayor. Remember, quick note about early voting, May 28th through June 4th, and the election is Saturday, June 8th. Thanks for watching today.